And welcome to a little highlights video of our first endurance race in the IMSA series. 6 hours of Fuji Speedway. Our first time racing in the LMP2 together. It was a night race. I actually qualified for the car. I qualified in P3. Which was much higher than I was anticipating. I was exceptionally nervous. I was so nervous. Not a full pace lap, a short run to the start finish. And we were in front, right behind the hypercars. I was really hoping that our leader would create a little bit of the gap to the hypercar field, but no. There they are, right in front of us. No space. What can go wrong? I didn't actually record the race. I just wanted to have a little bit of peace of mind, and I wanted to concentrate as much as possible. So I'm doing what I never did before, a little talk over a replay, but I just wanted to share some highlights. And here we go. I actually did get off very well. P2 completely missed it. And suddenly I'm in front. Lots of carnage in the background. Half of the LMP2 field decided to wreck themselves. And if I wasn't already nervous, now I'm actually leading. Hypercar spinning. At this point, all I hoped was for the hypercars, the GTPs, to wander off into the distance. I wanted some clean air, so I just could get into a rhythm, concentrated on my driving, another dead GTP, another dead GTP. But, as you can see, no gap. Not even that, I actually managed to close the gap that was there. The hypercars slowed me down. And the other guys of the LMP2s are right behind me. On the straight, of course, the hypercars, the GTPs are a lot faster than me. No chance to pass them. Maybe a little bit of draft. I lost a lot of time here. I had to go way to the inside. Had to slow down. And that was close. P2 had to avoid me because I had to slow down. This I didn't expect. I really would have thought the GTPs were much faster than us. Oh, he's getting back past. The only place where they are really faster are on the straights. P2 is really on my tail. I made a mistake. Did go wide. And I lost the lead, but I was fighting. I was fighting back. He took the inside line, I took the normal racing line, did a great exit, and I'm right in his toe. And we had a really fast car in a straight line. He had the inside line for turn 1. He kept it clean and tidy. and finally took the lead. I tried to scare him a little bit of going inside here to a fast left-hander. He didn't took it. And I'm in second place. Fast forward a lap. My exit was compromised because of another hypercar tapping my ass. Losing P2, but I'm back in the draft. 3 wide. I braked early because I didn't want to run into the GTP before me. GTP on the inside, and I had to slam on the brakes. Flash my lights, I was not happy. Luckily the other guy was compromised as well. Back in the draft. And again, we had really good straight line speed. Now watch. I go to the inside and watch in front. That's like a GT3 car. I boxed him in a little bit, but I think it was fair enough. And I'm back in P3. Fast forward 2 laps. And we are with P4, Tabula Rasa Racing team. Me in front. He is right in the draft, but he had a really tough time in getting any closer. I was defending the inside. And managed to hold the position for now. Traffic in front. He goes to the outside, but nothing he can do for now. Fast forward another lap, and this happened. Coming up to more traffic. P2 behind, P4 behind, and I had to slam on the brakes because this guy was spinning, and the gap was immediately back to 0. He's on the inside, I'm on the outside, side by side onto the main straight, and what now? This time I couldn't box him in, side by side. Turn 1. Can I keep it? Get a better line, better exit. Fast forward a little bit, and now he is coming up to traffic. I'm right behind. Took a very wide line, did get compromised on the outside, and I managed to get really close here. Back in the draft, I'm a little bit faster than him on the straight. Can I get him? Oh, hypercar. Braking zone, and I'm deciding to go way to the inside, and he didn't see me. And he ran in the back of me. I actually really had problems here to get the right gear in. Stupid as it sounds, if you have the steering wheel turned 180 degrees and the pedals are switched and you are really nervous because you're standing beside the road, you actually can manage to miss a few gears. Well, the leaders are gone. I'm in P4 for good. Only good thing, lots of space in front and some decent space behind. A few laps ahead there was more fighting for position. I was getting close to this guy who managed to pass me this lap. Braking into turn 1, I got really close, but he managed to close the door before me. Fair enough. And another one right beside me. These were some really fast guys who had some bad luck in lap 1. And I had a hard time fighting them off. They were really fast. Really bad line here. Yeah. And I managed to completely mess up the last corner. 2 laps later I managed to close the gap once more. A little spin from a back marker. And we are right behind. Free wide into this corner doesn't work, so I back off. Go to the inside. Didn't work. I got lucky in traffic here, managed to go in front of him. Look at that, he's 1 meter behind and can't get any closer. I braked early and he outbraked himself. He tries the inside. I had to brake way earlier because of the GT3. As long as I... Ah, God. Well, luckily he did the same mistake. I had a better exit this time. And he didn't get close enough. Clearly he has way more downforce than I. He's faster into the corners, he can brake later, brake harder. But as long he cannot pass me in this part of the track, I'm mostly safe. And that is the end of my first fuel run. Pit entry. We didn't change drivers on every pit stop. Every one of us was running 2 fuel tanks before we changed. So about 1.5 hours of driving time before driver change. As you can see on the three blue dots on the side of the car, I'm actually managed to get back in P3 after the pit stop. We managed to run 1 lap more than the other guys, get a little bit of mileage out of the car, which actually gave us a position. That was quite nice. Not much happened in my second fuel stint. It was really quiet. I managed to keep P3 and I came in for the second time to hand the car over. Pit limiter a little bit early. And I'm getting out of the car after 1.5 hours. So, now my buddy Jess is driving. So let's ride his outlap. Cold tires after the pit stop, 40 degrees Celsius. Now, lap 46, this happens. Watch from his onboard. Well, that was fast.
Sorry, bro, but I think you just came down on me and I didn't know where to go.
Now, from the outside, Jace. Hypercar goes left. Overtook the GT3. My buddy saw Saw a gap here on the outside and was hoping the GT3 would notice him. But unfortunately, he did not. And they made contact. Well, unfortunate, very unfortunate. I don't want to blame anyone, especially not my teammate. Yeah. You can clearly see his intentions. He saw this gap here and he just wanted to tuck it down the inside, and the GT3 just wanted to go his normal line, and his normal line is as tight as possible. I don't know if he wasn't watching his mirrors or his rear cam. Well, other guys in the wall, we can continue.
Sorry, bro, but I think you just came down on me and I didn't know where to go.
Let me know what you think. Who's at fault? Lap 76. And the next big moment. GTP passes us, spins around, and we crash right into him. And another LMP2 decided, oh well, I don't have to brake, and crashes into us. The car was broken. It was just broken. The rear axle was completely broken, and we knew we had to pit, and possibly for a very long time. Yeah, as you can see, even at crawling speed. Oh well. Look at the left rear, the right rear tire. Oh boy, our poor little car. That was clearly not our fault this time. We had so much misfortunes with the faster traffic. At the race start, they blocked me all the time. I couldn't get into a rhythm, and now one of them spins it right in front of us. And even more misfortune that another LMP2 decided, well, I don't have to brake for accidents, and crashes into us at 200 kilometers per hour. So, we were standing here for, I think, 7 or 8 minutes, which put us 4 or 5 laps down. I think it was 5 laps. We knew we had no chance of fighting for good places or the podium. I think we had good podium chances before. I was running in P3 for a very long time. But no, that was over. But this is an endurance race. In a sprint race would be over. But you continue. You continue until you see the flag. So we repaired the car, at least mostly, put our head down and carried on. And now look at this. The steering wheel is not straight. We were driving with a little bent steering for almost 4 hours. The steering wheel is always a little bit to the right. Funny enough, when you first drive it like that, you think it's absolutely horrible. But after a couple of laps, you get used to it. After some time, you didn't even notice it anymore. But this is the way we drive like now. From now until the end of the race, we are losing over a second per lap. My buddy managed to keep the damaged car on the track for the rest of his stint. Did a really good job. and he came in on lap 106 for his second stop. Nice job braking, and he handed the car back over to me. Then we learned another thing. After many hours and many off tracks and many crashes, we actually managed, or I in this case managed to get enough incident points to get our first black flag and drive-through penalty. I decided to took it immediately and get rid of it. But it's a thing that you learn. You don't win endurance races by having a fast pace. Well, I guess it helps. But you manage to get a good result in endurance races by keeping it on the track, keeping it out of the pit lane, spending as little time as possible in the pit lane. That is what gives you a good result in an endurance race. And that was my first drive-through. And back into traffic. And back to losing time. Well, I carried on, and on lap 136 I came in for my last pit stop of the day. Last time for me to take fresh rubber and a tank of fuel, 75 liters, and go back out for another 45 minutes. Then, a couple of laps later, lap 149, I managed to close the gap. Not to the car in front, but to the leader of the race, or the later leader of the race. This car in front is now on P2. Not only I managed to close the gap, I would have been able to actually attack him. But I decided to do otherwise. I just wanted to stay with him, if I can, and maybe save a little bit of fuel. Lap 155. And I'm lifting like a madman, still behind him, still saving fuel. And he's losing time in traffic, going wide. This time I got very close and I could easily just overtake him, but what's the point? What's the point for a back marker 4 laps down to overtake the leader?
Go left.
I managed to stay with the leading group for 14 laps and managed so much fuel that I actually could extend my driving time for about 2 laps, which would come handy in the end, as it turns out. So, for my last time of the night, I came to the pits to hand it over back to Jess. And it was his task now of actually bringing the car home and finish the race. Then this happened. Hypercar coming up, and he decided not to brake. Crashed into the wall at almost 300 kilometers per hour and just not braking. I guess his real life brake just didn't work anymore. We have no explanation. We saw him flashing and then flying by at maximum speed. So we have no idea how he managed to do that. Look at that. It's coming up. He's flashing his lights. And we brake and he does not. And he managed to miss us by... well, not a lot. Look at that. Let's take his right front and look at the gap. There was no gap. There was absolutely no gap. Yeah. It was barely a centimeter. Was he P1? Look at that. His number board says P1. No way. No way, this was the race leader? The overall leader? Oh boy. This was the overall leader. I didn't know that. Oh my god. Well, it was not our fault. Then on lap 198, Jess came in for his hopefully last fuel pit stop and the last pit stop of the day. Well, we hoped, because it was rather well, it was rather close. It said it was about, I think, 47 minutes left in the race, and normally our LMP2 fuel tank lasts about 45 minutes. So unless we wanted to go to the pits again, Jess had a lot of fuel saving to do. And that's what he did. His whole last stint, he was just fuel saving like a madman, just so we can manage to go to the end without stopping once more. The closing stages of the race, many people started to make mistakes. Thankfully, not us anymore. But after almost 6 hours of driving, a lot of guys suddenly found themselves beside the road. Again, on lap 225, people started losing it around us. Very close call. Thankfully, Jess managed to avoid a crash. can clearly hear him lifting and fuel saving all his last stint. Shifting very early, not giving it full throttle. Again, the understeer. For 4 hours with the broken car, we had so much understeer in this part. And then we got to the final lap of the race. Last lap, lap 228. After 6 hours, Jazz got into our last lap. For final time around Fuji Speedway. Let's ride with him till the end. He actually managed to save way more fuel than he needed to. As you can see on the steering wheel, with 1 lap to go or half a lap to go, he still has fuel for 1 lap to spare. Final corner. And he brought the car home. For 6 hours, after a massive crash and a spin in the beginning, we managed to finish in P5. As it turns out, a lot of the other LMP2s had even more issues, even more crashes than we did. And we come to the results. It was the bottom split. I think otherwise we wouldn't have been able to challenge for podium positions, but I am happy nonetheless that we are able at all to challenge for podium positions. We managed to finish in P5 in class. I sorted for the LMP2s here. I lost a lot of safety rating. I finished with 28 incident points. Well, a lot of that was car contact, and over 3 hours of driving time, I managed to get way more off tracks than I should have. But that's a thing I hope I can improve on in the future. Just drive more carefully in an endurance race. Nonetheless, we both get some I rating, and Jess, who did drive more cleanly than me, even though he had the bigger crashes, managed to get a lot of safety rating, almost 0.7. So he surpassed me in that point. 4.6 safety rating for him, 4.4 for me. One thing that I really like about our team is that we are really close in terms of I rating, and we understand each other pretty well. We pretty much like the same cars, have a similar style of driving, and yeah, I hope we can manage to improve on our results in the future. We both really wanted to enter more endurance races in the future. We have, I think, a schedule of 3 more races this year, and it would be absolutely amazing if we somehow can manage to enter a 24-hour race next year, maybe 24 hours of Le Mans. That would be a dream of mine, to actually do the 24 hours of Le Mans. Well, but this was the 6 hours of Fuji. In the end, we were happy we finished the race, even though we had a lot of incidents. We could have gone for at least podium positions, but had to settle down, I think, over But as a leader, 6 laps down overall, and we were 13 laps. We were six laps down on the leader. 5 laps of that were because of our crash, and the last lap because of a lack of pace. Imagine we had 4 hours of running time with a damaged car. So for that point, the pace was gone, and I guess we can really be happy with P5. So that was it.